So I booked a flight, I head out to Arizona, and this is crazy. They were using like dialers, like 10-line dialers, 5-line dialers. Rejection is a part of progression. Hey, what's going on, everybody? First off, let me just say thank you so much for watching the first 5 episodes of Mindset Memoirs. And we're back here for episode 6. So where I left off is I just confirmed with Pace that I'm going to come out to Arizona. He's offered to even give me his car. And keep in mind, I still have not made $1 yet. I'm having to still buy my own airplane ticket to go out there. I still have to get my own sleeping arrangements. Luckily, I have a friend from my parkour community, and this is why it's so important to never burn bridges. I have a parkour friend who's willing to host me because he knows this crazy journey I'm on. I'm explaining to him that, listen, I'm coming out there just to learn from this guy about real estate, to learn from my mentor. So I booked a flight, I head out to Arizona, and this is crazy. It's still, but I mean, New York is masked up. People are not leaving their front door. And I get off the plane in Arizona and not a mask to be found in sight. I mean, it was like Twilight Zone where I was like, yo, do they know that the pandemic's going on? Do they know that like they need to be wearing masks? No one's wearing one, not a single one. And I remember calling my mom like, yo, it's like the Wild Wild West out here. Like, I love it. Like, I'm just being honest, guys. Like, I know some of you have different opinions, but I just thought it was cool to see that people found a way to continue life during this time. So I get myself over to the office. Pace hooks me up with a car. He's actually in the middle of filming a video, so he leaves the car there for me. He says like, hey, I'll come meet you later at the office. And when I'm in the office, I get to meet his business partner, Cody Barton. And I also met at the time his 2 main acquisitions people, Tino and Nick, Tino Luna and Nick Newling. Shout out to Tino and Nick, because what happened first was, Cody sat with me and he just gave me like an hour of uninterrupted time. He brought me into the back room, opened up the computer, showed me that they had a team of VAs who were calling. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is how you guys are doing it? You have like an army of people calling on your behalf? I was hand dialing, literally hand dialing on this phone with a Google Voice number. They were using like dialers, like 10-line dialers, 5-line dialers, where this one person in the Philippines is calling thousands of numbers before their shift is over, where it took me an entire day to get through 50 contacts. You know, so I mean, I was just not even realizing how outmatched and outgunned I was. So that was really helpful when Cody started to show me that. He also started to show me that there were systems and processes that they had in place to qualify leads and not qualify leads. And I was like, what's qualifying leads mean? I didn't know that. If a person picked up the phone and said that they were the homeowner, I was just putting it in the system saying like, this is a lead, right? The person confirmed their identity, not realizing that, oh no, these people have to also have a willingness to sell. This is why I'm getting cursed out so much, because I'm trying to have conversations with people who don't want to have a conversation. Now I know it's so obvious to you guys now, but back then I didn't know what I didn't know. So I sit down, after hanging out with Cody, I sit down with Tino and Nick, and I open my laptop, and I'm just like, hey, look, I just want to make calls. So they hook me up with a table right next to them. By the way, this is a fire tip. If you want to get good at something, if you want to get good at a sales job or basketball or sports or whatever, go and put yourself next to people who are producing and performing at a high level. So as I'm sitting down next to Tino and I'm making my calls, I'm listening to him and Nick on the phones talking to people. I'm listening to the way that they're disqualifying leads, that they're getting people off the phone. They're like, no, I don't think we're a good fit. And they're hanging up the phone. And I'm like, whoa, you can do that? Holy moly. They're like, yeah, of course we could do that, bro. Like, that person doesn't want to sell. And I'm also watching, get this was the biggest paradigm shift I have. I'm watching them be told no. These are seasoned closers. These are people who are successful at this business, and I'm watching them be rejected all day long, from the early morning up until afternoon. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon now, and I've just watched no one has a contract yet. Myself included, none of us have contracts. And Tino goes, hey, you guys ready to go get some lunch? Lunch? Are you kidding me? We can't leave? Dude, no one's made money yet. No one's gotten a deal. And they're looking at me like, bro, chill out. It's not that serious. We got to go get lunch so that we can have energy so we can get back to work. Like, is this your first day on the job? What's going on? So they like tell me like, let's go get lunch. They take me out to lunch. And as we're at lunch, I'm just watching how relaxed they are. They're just having casual conversation. They're enjoying themselves. And I'm on the inside still kind of stressing because I'm like, I haven't done a deal yet. And this is really cool. Tino and Nick start to tell me about when they got into the business. And both of them had very similar stories. Each of them in their own journey didn't get their first deal for 18 months. Now, these are guys that are making great money as investors. They're closing plenty of contracts each month, but they didn't make their first dollar in real estate each until 18 months in the game. And at this point in time, I'm like, I'm only month like 6 or 7 in. Like I've got time. Holy moly. Okay. Like that was so reassuring. So we get back to the office, and again, the rest of the day goes on. Nobody gets a single contract, but they don't let it ruin their day. They had an amazing time, and I learned this lesson very well. Rejection is a part of progression. Understand that as you go and level up and you do things that you've never done before, you're going to face rejection. People are going to tell you no. People are going to say, get the heck out of here. You've got to keep pushing. Because if you're willing to stay persistent, I promise you, at the end of the day, something will break. And if it's not you, it's going to be all the barriers in your way. But you have to stay persistent. So Tino and Nick taught me that. And the very next day, because I was out there for a few days, I got to sit down and spend the rest of the day with Pace. You know, he sat with me, he poured into me, he taught me so much. I mean, for me to talk about what happened there, that would be an entire series by itself, what I learned in that one day. But my biggest takeaway was just recognizing that rejection was a part of the game. So with this knowledge, armed with the knowledge of knowing that I'm not doing anything wrong, that I'm actually on the right path, I come back home to New York and I'm revitalized. I'm ready to jump back into my business. And this is moments before I actually end up getting my very first deal. So we'll talk about that very first deal in the next video. Guys, I appreciate you for being here. If you're getting value, just do me a favor. Go ahead and share this video with somebody else who needs to see this, somebody else who needs to be reminded that the game is to stick into it, to stay on the road longer than anybody else. I'll see you guys back for episode 7 of the Mindset Memoirs.